Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I think we had a very interesting session from David Lee and other friends from China. I have been assigned by Reni to talk about Indian agrochemical industry. We all know we had a very challenging year, 2023, for the entire globe, and India was not an exception. So what are the learnings out of this challenging year? So let me share with all of you. I represent Agro Chemicals India. We are one of the largest manufacturers of synthetic pyrethroids, herbicides like sulfentrazone, and some other interesting molecules. We have a meeting room here. My team are here to talk to you in case you have any specific question. If we talk about India, I think India has really come up well as a global leader in the crop protection. And we all have seen the challenges of oversupplies. It is not only 2023, actually it all started from end of 2022. And of course, how Indian agrochemical manufacturers, Indian agri-input manufacturers have handled the situation, what are the learnings out of it, and how do we foresee the way forward. So I think the first most important factor what we all learned is India itself is a very large market. We are blessed with a large population. I think this is the highest population in the world. And of course, the food security, which is of utmost importance. So let me tell you, the first learning was focus local and then go global. So just to tell you about few facts, rice, we have 46.4 million hectare of land. Wheat, very stable, 30.5 million hectare, and we are self-sufficient as a country. We don't need to import rice and wheat. Cotton traditionally has been a major product from India. Soybean acreages are increasing. Of course, we do import some soybean. Maize acreage is increasing. Millets, mustard, and groundnut. Sugarcane is a very important crop because Indians love to eat a lot of sweets. So we do also export some sugar-based products. Other most important factors are fruits and vegetables. This is one of the most emerging sectors in India. Traditionally, we have two major agricultural seasons, Kharif, which actually brings in almost 70-75% of the entire crop protection of the country, followed by our Rabi season, which is typically, we can say, monsoon season and the winter season. This is the general overview. About 43% of the total cultivated lands are under irrigation, and irrigation areas, irrigated areas under cultivations are steadily increasing in India. We talk about agrochemicals. Now, to be very specific, India is the third largest producer of agrochemicals in the world. And India has emerged as the second largest exporter of agrochemicals in the world after China. This has happened in last 1 year. We used to be number 3. We have come up as number 2 now. Around 80% of these are post-patent molecules. The agrochemicals exports out of India in 22-23 was about $5.4 billion US, and India is the first emerging as a preferred global manufacturing hub. So we have learned out of not only 23, but I think for last 4 or 5 years, we have realized the strength, the potential of the country. We have a talented manpower. People are well educated. They have the experience of handling the global markets. We also realize that we have the capability to get into backward integration. Instead of being over-dependent on imports, Indian companies have realized that it is better for us to focus into backward integration, at least focus on some key intermediates. So India emerged, as I talked about, is the second largest exporter of agrochemicals. And of course, this is happening because we are making quality products. USA, where we are sitting today, is the largest importer of agrochemicals from India, which is followed by Brazil and Japan. Japan is a mixed model because the Japanese companies get a lot of stuffs contract manufactured in India. So when we talk about Japanese imports, it is not only the finished products but also key intermediates from India. Indian domestic crop protection market is predominantly insecticide driven. Of course, herbicides, the share of herbicides are increasing steadily. A lot of farmers who are traditionally dependent on traditional ways of weed control, they're changing to chemical weed control now. So there's a huge opportunity of herbicide sector in India to grow. I'm sure in next 3 to 4 years, this herbicide sector will show an increasing trend, at least by another 10%. Learning, focus on domestic market besides emerging as a global manufacturing or chemical hub. A large domestic agrochemical market which is increasingly going up due to robust demand. 50 to 55% of the total production is consumed in the domestic market itself. Increasing number of agrochemical and key intermediate manufacturers. Contract manufacturing partnerships by multinational companies and large regional agrochemical companies from Brazil, USA, Argentina, and Japan as well. Infrastructure, manufacturing assets, dedicated plants, pilot plants are definitely increasing, and there are huge potential for expansion. Increasing awareness about health, safety, and environment. I think more and more the realization of being HSE compliant is understood by the Indian companies, and this is something, thanks Rennie, and this is something is going to be very, very important. The regulatory expertise, GLP labs of global standard, ability to undertake difficult chemical reaction at large commercial scale, ability to adapt to price volatility and dynamic market condition. I think these are some of the key features, I would say, unique selling points for Indian companies to the global market. If you see the trend, how it has been increasing, government support is, yes, government has realized that this is an important sector. So ease of doing business is something government is definitely supporting us with. Multiple seaports in different regions. This is also an important aspect. When you see during the COVID time, where a lot of supply disruptions took place around the world, I think Indian companies were more stable in terms of meeting the supply deadlines. We as an organization, we have not missed out on any of our commitments. Thanks to good seaports, I would say good seaport with good infrastructures and good logistics infrastructure as well in terms of road transportation, rail transportation, inland water transportation. Outstanding capabilities of technical process development, scaling up, and desirable analytical skills. Trusted partner in consistent supply of quality products. 40% of the growth witnessed by agrochemical industry in India was driven by exports. A stable domestic agrochemical market where consumption has been increasing on year-on-year basis. This is also an important aspect, the consistent investments in research and development, regulatory data and patents. Nearly 4 to 5% of the turnover is spent on research and development by most of the Indian companies who are into technical manufacturing. Good number of GLP labs, companies from USA, LATAM, and EU are coming for data generation to India at a reasonable cost and reasonable timeline. Contract research and development companies are coming up with tie-up from companies in LATAM, USA, and Europe. Also, Indian corporates are now focusing on investing majorly in securing patents, product patent, process patent, copyrights, and trademarks. Less of product patents, I must say, more of process patents. The global agrochemical market is about $75 billion. Out of this, 75% are all off-patent and generic products today. India is fast emerging as a sourcing hub of post-patent products by most of the American, Latin American, and European companies. There's a huge potential to grow, as I said. In our estimation, in 5 years, it's potential to grow to the level of $11 billion. Which are, again, there will be good balance. We foresee that there will be almost 50-50 balance of the domestic consumption as well as exports out of India. A big advancement is happening in India in terms of formulation technology. As we all know that with the focus on precision spraying, the concept of formulation technology itself is going to change. There will be low volume products which are of higher loading of active ingredient. That means the dosage and the water requirement to spray in a particular unit of area would be lesser. So for an example, a lot of new products are coming up with OD formulations, a lot of combination chemistries are coming, and I must tell you the Indian companies are getting stronger in this particular area. A lot of initiatives are being taken by Indian companies to focus on pyridine chemistry, of fluorination, triazole-based chemistries, benzene derivatives, and much more. Now, focus on contract manufacturing. I talked about this, that the multinational companies, large American and Latin-based companies, Japanese companies are looking at Indian companies to make actives, key intermediates, and also formulation. So patented products and then products which are coming out of patent, existing generic products and key intermediates. There are large companies who have already proven themselves like Deccan, PI, my own organization Agros, Punjab Chemical, UPL, SRF, Aarti, Heikel, just to name a few who are front runners today. These are the top molecules which are being exported out of India today across the world and which are steadily increasing both in terms of volume and value. Pyroxasulfone, mancozeb, acephate, glufosinate ammonium, sulfentrazone, just to name a few in top 5 to 6 molecules. Investments to build a world-class infrastructure. As I talked about, focus on health, safety, and environment. Again, I am repeating, we as Indian manufacturers are very, very serious about it. We are bringing in a lot of compliances to meet the global standard, global requirements. Innovation, investments in R&D, developing green chemistry molecules at a good cost, lower raw material cost because we are getting into backward integration, lesser dependence on imports, reduce pollutants, lesser effluent treatment cost. Focus on developing environmental friendly novel formulations and biological products as well, both for domestic and exports. Encouraging to promote public-private partnerships for collaboration among the agrochemical companies and government research institutes. This is also coming up in a very big way. Then capacity build-up for building blocks allowing fully backward integrated manufacturing. Investment in complete backward integration process to be more price competitive. Less dependence on import of raw materials and key intermediates. Creating a logistics strength in India. We are talking about massive investments in upgrading high capacity ports to handle larger container ships, improve and create special road and rail corridors to handle containers to reduce time, carbon footprint and cost. Industrial parks with centralized pollution and effluent treatment plants. These are also coming up in the industrial zones in different states of India. Focus on biologicals. Yes, this segment is coming up. We talked about integrated pest management, integrated crop management as new concepts where biologicals play an important role. as well as the crop nutrition. So except for azadirachtin, biopesticide market is still at an early stage, but it is growing very fast now. Biostimulants are getting accepted very fast in the market. Humic acids, seaweed extracts, even a lot of European companies are becoming very active in India in this space. Seaweed extracts, biopesticides, biofertilizer, micronutrients, biostimulants, and now government is also creating good regulatory framework for biostimulants, so which is ensuring only quality products to be made available to the farmers. Challenges, we talk about farmers want faster knockdown products. So this is one challenge because biologicals don't give a faster knockdown. So that is where a lot of education is needed, and industry is playing a large role. I talked about public-private partnerships. So private companies are joining hand with industrial associations and the government extension agencies to spread across the correct method of application, selection of correct products to the farming community. India, a logistics advantage. India has a geographical advantage, long coastline for more than 7,500 kilometers, proximity to shipping, traffic transiting the Indian Ocean. During COVID pandemic, shipping from ports in China was affected. Companies from LATAM mostly imported their major requirements from India, not only LATAM, the Europe as well as USA. Major manufacturing plants located in coastal states, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, giving distinct advantage in the logistics. Efficient high-capacity ports that can handle larger container ships. Massive investments are being made to boost India's cargo capacities. Efforts are being made to reduce reliance on transshipments via hubs to avoid potential lengthy transit times. Of course, the geopolitical situations are beyond anybody's control. The Red Sea crisis, we never knew that this will drag on for so long. There are certain situations like Russia-Ukraine war has become a routine. It's more than 2.5 years. So certain situations like these are beyond anybody's planning and beyond anybody's control today. But then keeping all these factors in mind, we can only do our best to prevent and prepare than repent and repair. World Bank Logistics Performance is called LPI Index. India ranks 38th out of 139 countries in 2023. Now, LPI indicators, India has improved the score in infrastructure, international shipments, logistics, quality and competence and timelines. Now, to grow as a global agrochemical hub, India is the second largest exporter of agrochemicals. Infrastructure, I talked about good manufacturing asset, dedicated pilot plants and potential for expansion. Investment towards product quality, reasonable manufacturing cost, high production capabilities, backward integration, investments in regulatory areas and also IP. Flexibility in accepting volumes, price fluctuations, speed in execution in terms of delivering shipments on time, depending on the market conditions. I think we Indian companies are quite adapted to the dynamics of the global market. We have learned it in a hard way, but I think today most of the companies in India have really learned how to handle this sudden demands, upside, downsides, price fluctuation, dynamics of logistics, all that. Health, safety, environment, the most critical aspect, that is where I think the HSA compliances are very critical. As I said, most of the Indian companies are well compliant today and getting more and more compliant in terms of EcoVadis, Together for Sustainability initiatives, responsible care compliances. So I talked about logistics and LPI index improvements. I'll not repeat the same. So thank you very much for your patient hearing. If you have any specific questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions? Okay.
Abhijit, thank you for this information. Could you just throw, you've told us about India being an attractive destination for doing business. Could you throw some light on regulatory in terms of regulatory compliance, timelines, approximate rough timelines so that, it would attract us to come and look at a business opportunity there?
Right. I think very important question. Now, I'll split this question into two. One is regulatory framework for selling a product in India. So we talk about technical registration. If it is a new molecule, you have to meet all the regulatory, and which is very clearly defined. You go to Central Insecticide Board website, you'll get to see requirements are very well defined. It takes about generally 2.5 to 3 years for a new product where the data requirements are very well defined. Now, coming to a formulation registrations, if it's a new formulation, it again takes about 2 to 2.5 years time, because we need to do multi-locational trials, 2 seasons, multi-locational, multi-crop trials, depending on what kind of labels we are looking at. Generally about 2 to 2.5 years time. Then second aspect is international registrations. So there Indian companies are looking at 5-batch data generation first, and then we don't need to go out because there are good 5-batch GLP labs available in India, and they are quite reasonably priced, and the timeline generally takes about 6 to 7 months. We don't really need to wait for a year. And then to make a total data package, maybe we add another 2 months time, and then you can share it with your global clients, or if you want to go and register yourself. Getting an export registration is not at all very difficult. I know it takes about 3 months time to get an export registration. Second aspect I'll link with this is Indian companies, the awareness about patents. And I must say the good Indian companies, we respect the patents. And that is the reason today we are getting a lot of global contract manufacturing, because we have developed the trust among the multinational companies and Japanese companies that if we sign an NDA, it is not just a piece of paper. We respect that. We don't infringe the IP rights. If somebody is having a patent, we respect that. We don't infringe. There could be some unknowing infringement, but when it is brought into the notice, I think the course correction takes place. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Abhijit.
Thank you.